Hello everyone, welcome to the class of Class A Power Amplifier. In today's class, we are going to see another topic called Transformer Coupled Class A Power Amplifier. Why we have to see this topic? Because in earlier class, we have seen that series fed directly coupled Class A Power Amplifier is having a very high output impedance. Because of that, when we are going to feed the output of your class A power amplifier to the loudspeaker which is having its resistance is very low, such as 3 to 4 ohms to almost 16 ohms, as there is a no impedance matching between the output of your class series fed directly coupled class A power amplifier and the loudspeaker which is a load connected to your power amplifier. They are having impedance no impedance matching is possible over there, and that problem can be overcome using this transformer coupled class A power amplifier. As we are connecting this transformer to deliver the power to the load, we are going to call it as transformer coupled class A power amplifier. To understand the operation of this transformer coupled class A power amplifier, let us revise the basics about the transformer first. Then we can get into the transformer coupled class A power amplifier. We know that this is a transformer wherein let us say this is your load connected, is load resistance, and here is your output current, here is your output voltage V2, and the number of turns in secondary, the number of turns in primary, and this is what the input voltage which we are applying. This is what the input current flows to the primary winding of the transformer. And now you see that this is what the primary windings, this is the secondary windings, right? Now, while analyzing this transformer, we need to assume that the transformer is ideal. What it means? There are no losses in the transformer, and the winding resistances are also assumed to be zero. And N1 is the number of turns on primary, N2 is the number of turns on secondary, V1 is the voltage which you are applying on the primary windings, V2 is the voltage on secondary, and I2 is the secondary current, I1 is a primary current. And now we are aware about the fact that turns ratio. What do you mean by turns ratio? It is nothing but the number of turns on secondary to the number of turns on the primary is called as a turns ratio of the transformer, which can be uh, called as or denoted as small n, nothing but a turns ratio, which is nothing but number of turns on the secondary divided by the number of turns in the secondary. This is called as turns ratio. Sometimes it is also showed like n2 by n1 is to 1, or n1 by n2 is to 1. This is what your transformer ratio is. Now we want a voltage transformation and we want a current transformation. What is your voltage transformation? This transformer transforms the voltage applied on one side to the other side proportional to the number of turns ratio. That means the transformer can be a step up or step down transformer. If I write secondary voltage divided by primary voltage equals to number of turns in the secondary divided by number of turns in the primary, is nothing but turns ratio. And we know that in the amplifier analysis, our load impedance will be a very small, and the transformer which we are used for the impedance matching will be a step down transformer. So what do you mean by step down transformer? When you have number of turns on primary is more than the number of turns in the secondary, we are going to call it as step down transformer. Let us say you may have voltage here, let us say 10 volts. Then if it is a step down transformer, that means N2 turns are less than N1, you will get 2 volts over here. That means you are going to reduce the voltage, that is step down. Opposite means what? You'll be having a step up transformer wherein number of turns in a primary are less than the number of turns in the secondary. We are going to get a step up transformer. But in general, for the amplifier analysis, we are going to have the step down transformer only. So this is the voltage transformation for this transformer. Similarly, I can have a current transformation, which is nothing but I2 by I1, that is current in the secondary winding, is inversely proportional to the number of turns in the of the winding. What it means? Here I have V2 primary by secondary by primary, secondary by primary. Here it is inversely, that means secondary current divided by primary current, nothing but primary winding divided by secondary winding is nothing but 1 by n. So this is your voltage transformation, this is your current transformation, and now we can have the impedance transformation. What is that impedance transformation? We know that as your current and voltages, they are get transferred from primary to secondary. So obviously impedance can also be seen from either primary side or secondary side, will also get changes. Now in this figure you have observed that the load on the secondary, this is your secondary part, this is your primary part. Now we can see that the impedance of your load on the secondary is your RL. The primary and secondary winding resistance, what we have assumed, they are assumed to be 0, right? That means as there is a no resistance at the primary and secondary, the load impedance RL will get reflected at the primary side also. That means virtually you can assume something like this, and this this value we are calling it as RL dash. Okay, that means what you can see that is this load impedance RL will get reflected on the primary side and behaves as if it is connected in the primary side, and such impedance transferred from secondary to primary, we are denoting it as RL dash. Okay, so why this happens? When you have assumed the ideal conditions of your transformer, saying that the primary and secondary winding resistance are 0, then only whatever the load you have connected at the secondary, that will get reflected as if we have connected at the primary. This new impedance transformation from secondary winding to the primary winding, we are calling it as impedance transformation, is denoted as RL dash. Now we are interested to know what is the value of this RL dash. So what is your RL? RL is nothing but V2 by I2. And what will be your RL dash? Nothing but V1 by R. You can see here. What is your RL? V2 by I2. What is RL dash? V1 by I1. But what we know? We know that V1 equals to N1 by N2 into V2, right? From the voltage transformation. And what we know about current, here I1 equals to N2 by N1 into I2, right? So now if you put these values in your RL dash so as to know the value of RL dash, if I substitute, what is V1? N1 by N2 into V2 divided by what is uh, this I1, sorry I wrote here wrong, This is I1, right? What is I1? I1 is again N2 by N1 into I2. So I can rewrite this expression like N1 by N2 whole square into V2 by I2. Now we know what is our V2 by I2. What is V2 by I2 if you substitute? N1 by N2 whole square into V2 by I2 is nothing but our RL. So I can write that is RL by N2 by N1 whole square, and that can be rewritten as RL by N square. Why I am doing so? Because I want to know what is the relationship between this RL and RL dash, which value is more or less, are they equal? I want to know that. That's why I'm just rearranging the equation so that I'll come to know the relationship between the load connected, the reflected impedance, and the number of and the turns ratio. So from that I can say that my RL dash is equals to RL by N square, or I can write N1 by N2 whole square into RL. That means the reflected impedance is related to the square of the turns ratio of the transformer, and we know that because of the step down transformer, always your RL dash is always higher than the RL than the RL. So this is a basic information we needed to study the transformer coupled class A power amplifier. So now with this basic, let us start with the transformer coupled class A power amplifier. This is the circuit diagram of the transformer coupled class A power amplifier. So herein you can see this is your, as it is a amplifier, we are going to apply the AC input over here to the capacitor, and then we have used a fixed bias circuit wherein it is in a C configuration, and at the output I am going to use my transformer. That's the reason I call it as transformer coupled class A power amplifier, and the output of that is given to the loudspeaker. And we know that the transformer which is used as a step down transformer with the number of turns is nothing but N2 by N. Okay. Now we are going to do the DC analysis for this. We know that whenever we are going to do the DC analysis, we will not have the AC, and because of that capacitor will be open circuit, so there is only you left out with this RB and this transformer. So now to have the DC operation, and what we have assumed in the starting also, that the transformer which we are using, it is an ideal transformer. That means the winding resistance are zero. The winding resistance are 0 ohms. Definitely because of that there is a no DC voltage drop across the primary winding of the transformer, due to which the slope of your DC load line will be reciprocal to the DC resistance in your collector circuit, and here it is 0. Therefore, your slope of DC load line is infinite. That means if you remember, we are going to draw the DC load line something like this. You have these transistor characteristics, okay, and then you are going to draw the DC load line with some slope, that is 1 by VCC by RL, right? Now as you don't have the winding of the resistance which is equals to 0 ohm, therefore no more your straight line will be with some slope, rather it will be a straight vertical straight line. This will be your DC load line for transformer coupled class A power amplifier. So now when you apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law KVL at the output side, assuming that this resistance is equals to 0, so what I can get is VCC minus VCE equals to 0. That means VCC equals to VCEQ. The same thing you can see here, applying KVL to the collector at the output side, as there's a no drop across winding because it is 0 ohms. So therefore your VC equals to VCQ. That means the DC bias voltage of your transistor is nothing but equals to the DC voltage which you have applied. And because of that, your DC load line will be a straight vertical line at VCQ equals to VCC. And similarly, when you are to find out the DC input power, we know that the DC input power is provided by your supply voltage and without any AC input to it. Therefore, whatever the DC current drawn is the collector bias current only. That means your DC input power is nothing but the DC voltage which you have applied and the output current, collector current which you obtain, that is PDC equals to PCC into ICQ. That means this expression is same as the series fed directly coupled class A power amplifier. Now let us do the AC analysis or AC operation for transformer coupled class A power amplifier. Now for that reason you need to draw the output characteristics of a transistor, something like this. Okay, then we know that we have a DC load line at VC equals to VC, VCC equals to VCEQ. This is my DC load line. And for the AC analysis, we need to draw the AC load line on the output characteristics of transistor. This is the collector current. This is the collector to emitter voltages. Now, what we know for this AC purpose, the load on your secondary was how much it is. You have connected load impedance RL, which is in ohms, and the reflected load on the primary was how much? It was RL dash, if you remember. See here, this is what on the secondary the load is RL, at the primary the load is RL dash, and because of that we are going to draw the slope with minus 1 by RL dash, which is going to pass through the operating point Q point, and that is nothing but our AC load line analysis. That means this is our AC load line with a slope of minus 1 by RL dash. And now if you extend these lines, what you can find out is this is your current, this is your voltages, right? Now what we want to know is, we got the AC load line on the output characteristics of transistor with respect to the primary and secondary windings of the transformer. Now we have two different things, one at the primary winding, other at the secondary winding. Obviously the whatever the AC power developed on the primary and whatever the power developed on the secondary, that needs to be calculated. So for that reason, let us say now AC power delivered on the primary, how much it is, the primary values of your voltage and current, and the reflected load is RL dash. That has to be considered, not RL or not 0, because we are at the primary, and at the primary what we found is you got some reflected impedance RL dash, right? So therefore I need to talk about, I need to consider the, when I'm considering the voltages and current, either with the peak values or RMS values, I need to have the RL dash at the primary and RL at the secondary. So now let us say this V1M and I1M. What is V1M is nothing but magnitude or peak value of primary voltage. Okay, peak value of the primary voltage. What is V1 RMS is the RMS value of the primary voltage. What is I1M is nothing but peak value of primary current, and what is I1 RMS is RMS value of the primary current. That means now the AC power developed on the primary is PAC is nothing but V into I. In terms of IRMS, it is V1 RMS, I1 RMS. Now, if I substitute this V1 RMS is equal to nothing but I, I1 RMS into RL dash, because RL dash is the reflected impedance at the primary winding, my PAC in terms of I1 RMS is this, and in terms of V1 RMS is this. Now, if you want to know with respect to your maximum peak amplitudes, these are the equations. Now similarly, when you want the AC power delivered to the load on the secondary, what I need to consider? I need to consider V2M, I2M, V2 RMS, I2 RMS along with RL, not RL dash. Okay. Again, V2M is the magnet. Again, this V2 RMS is nothing but RMS value of the secondary. V2M is nothing but magnitude or peak value of the secondary. Because of that, what I can get the expressions like PAC and PAC. PAC in terms of VRMS, PAC in terms of peak is this. There's not much to explain over here because simply we are doing the substitutions the way we have done in the class A, directly fed, same way we are done over here. Now you have to make sure that the power delivered on the primary is same as the power delivered to the load on the secondary when we assume the ideal transformer. But in practical circuit, definitely transformer cannot be ideal, and therefore what is the power you are going to deliver to the load on the secondary is slightly less than the power developed on the primary. Definitely, if this is the case, the transform efficiency will be less compared to the theoretical values. And now you want to find out the efficiency, as I have a PAC, I have the PDC. So my efficiency will be the AC will be Vmax minus Vmin into Imax minus Imin divided by 8. And now the efficiency formula is what is efficiency? Again, I am repeating. When you apply the DC input power, how much effectively you got the transfer of this power into AC, that is your efficiency, PAC by PDC. And this is what the substitution of the values of PAC and PDC. And now we are interested to find out the maximum efficiency so that we'll get the exact value of the transformer coupled class A power amplifier. And now, as we know that in directly coupled class A power amplifier, your DC load line was not a vertical straight line, it was with some slope, whereas because of that there was a swing, the swing of the voltage was limited to VCC. But now here, because of this, we got this maximum swing of the uh, voltage is twice of VCC, and the remaining all things are same. Where in case of a directly fed class A power amplifier, your Vmin was 0, your Imin was 0, Imax is 2 ICQ, but Vmax was VCC. But here I got Vmax as a twice of VCC. Because of that, when I substitute these values, I got my efficiency as a 50%, whereas in case of directly coupled class A power amplifier, my efficiency was 25%. So now if I compare these efficiency values, I can say that theoretically, if I compare the efficiencies for directly series fed directly coupled class A power amplifier and transformer coupled class A power amplifier is almost double, that is 50% over here. Now we want to know the another parameter, which is nothing but power dissipation. We know that we are quite interested in the power dissipation because we want to know how much power is dissipated by the transistor in the form of heat. And the equation remains same, that is PD equals to PDC minus PAC. And now when I say when I'll get maximum power dissipation when there is no AC input, obviously the power dissipation equals to PDC, that is nothing but VCC into ICQ. That means when transistor is having input voltage, the wastage of power is very less, but when there's no AC input signal applied to it, you will have a maximum power dissipation, same like your class A power amplifier. So with this, we are going to conclude the transformer coupled class A power amplifier with its advantages and disadvantages. It is having a higher efficiency than the series fed directly coupled class A power amplifier. And as we are using the transformer, you will be having the matching of impedance of the output of the class A power amplifier with the loudspeaker, which is having a less impedance. And we know that because of we have assumed the ideal conditions of the transformer, there is a no DC bias current flows to the load, whereas in case of directly coupled class A power amplifier, you have load RL connected at the VCC to the collector terminal. Because of that, there is a possibility that some amount of current flows through the collector terminal to the load. Because of that, there is a wastage of power. But here, in case of this transformer coupled, as there is a resistor windings having zero resistance, because of that no current flow through the load, and definitely you have a less wastage of power over there. But along with that, you have some disadvantage of transformer coupled class A power amplifier is the circuit is quite complicated to design and implement, because you can see that whenever the transformer is coming into the picture, we'll be having a circuit becomes more bulky, it is heavy and maintenance is required, the losses will be more, the circuit becomes costly. And we know that transformer is having a poor frequency response compared to the RC coupled amplifiers. So with this things, we are going to conclude our transformer coupled class A power amplifier. Next class we are going to see the class B power amplifiers. Till then, thank you.